Hi, I'm Jeff Pepper. I'm a candidate for State House of Representatives here in the 15th District, which is Dearborn, Michigan. I'm running for the vacancy created when Abdullah Hammoud became the mayor of Dearborn. We've got about 9 months to go in his unfinished term, and I looked at it and saw that there was an opportunity for me to pay back this great city that I have lived in for my entire life. It's been very good to me, and I intend to be very good to the city as the state representative in Lansing. I live here in Dearborn with my wife. We raised 5 kids together here, all of whom graduated through the Dearborn Public Schools. I am a lawyer. I have set up my practice here since 1977. I have continually practiced here in Dearborn in various locations in the city. Most recently, I moved to Garrison Street, where I have a building that I just recently bought. Happy to invest in this town. My career has taken me to very great heights. I've represented people who were in desperate need of help, and I've helped them. I've been successful in advocating for people in jury trials and civil trials, in boards before the state of Michigan, in construction boards here in the city of Dearborn. And more recently, I've become a mediator of domestic relations cases, which allows me to take people whose emotions are very raw, whose opinions are very different. There is not exactly a great deal of friendliness going on when I'm doing those mediations, but what I do is try to bring them together to a resolution for the benefit of their children and for their own benefit, to get them moving in life, to set the past behind them and move forward. And I'm very successful at it. I've mediated over 3,200 cases, and I have a practice that keeps me going very busy, and I very much enjoy it. So right now, Dearborn doesn't have any representative there in the House of Representatives, and this is the time when budgetary items are being discussed in Lansing. Unfortunately, the budget is going to discussions on the floor are going to start in May, which would be the early part of May is when I would be taking my seat there. Whoever's elected is going to have to go through some training, mandatory training there, and so we're going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball as far as the 2023 budget, which is what they're discussing right now, but there will be opportunities to be involved in it. So the idea here is to take a look at what Dearborn's needs are, and I know that the city has a need for about $80 million for the 80 miles that need to be completed in our sewer construction project. We need some 6-inch pipe that we've got to replace in order to address the flooding issue. So we're going to need about 80 mil from the state, and my objective is to work in tandem with our new mayor to get that money so that we can address those issues. That's primarily what is going to be on my list when I get there, but there are other issues. Right now, and this should be of great interest to everyone in Dearborn, there is an assault on democracy. It's not only in Texas and Georgia and other places like that. It's happening right here in Dearborn because the state legislature is attempting to restrict voting access. And if there is a community that's going to be affected by voting access trickery, I would think it would be a historically underrepresented community, such as we have here in Dearborn. I don't know when it happened that the Republicans became a party of voter suppression. For years, everyone wanted more people to vote. Now there's a party that wants fewer people to vote, and we need to stop that. And I plan on being a very vocal opponent to these efforts to deprive people of their vote. Let's talk about Alabas. Alabas is a fine. He and I run across each other in the campaign trails. We get along fine. Our policies, I believe, are basically the same. We're both Democrats. And so I've enjoyed meeting with Alabas and walking with him and talking with him. Obviously, he believes that he'd be better suited for this position than me, and I believe the opposite. And the reason I believe the opposite is because I just have life experiences. Life experiences that have basically forged, I think, some wisdom and some judgment, which comes in handy when you're dealing with major issues in the legislature. It's not silly of me to suggest that the first time you do something, drive a car, or anything you do for the first time, you're not particularly good at it. But by the time you're doing the 10th time or the 100th time or the 1000th time, you're pretty confident in it, and you have some viewpoint about the value of experience. I have life experience, I have professional experience, I have community experience. I've been involved in many boards here in Dearborn. the Police and Fire Pension Board. I'm the president of the Dearborn Bar Association, the president of the Family Bar Association, Committee to Combat Drug Abuse that I was appointed to when I was 16 years of age. I have been a chairman of charitable drives for developmentally disabled children. I have been in the Community Crisis Center, which used to be around when we had a suicide hotline, principally before 911. I mean, I've been involved in things for the betterment of this community for my entire life. And those experiences, those people-to-people experiences, certainly I think just the depth of them probably makes me a good, like a really super good candidate for this position. I say that humbly, of course. But Alabas, bright kid, he's passionate, he's well-spoken, and I think he's got a great future. When I was 22 years of age, I was running for public office too. I was running for county commissioner here. What I told Alabas in one of our conversations was that his problem is that he's running against me and I wasn't. People should vote for me because I do have experience in this town, and I've moved all over the town. I mean, in my early years, I was living on Horger Street across from Fordson High School, and a couple of places in Horger, and I certainly was raised in West Dearborn. In fact, I live in the home that my parents raised my three brothers and I in. So I know the community. I know the roads. I know the people. I've had great involvement with every nationality that's been here. You know, in the days of yore, East Dearborn was more like Polish and Italian, and I knew the Poles and Italians, and that has faded away, and now we have a new population demographic here. I've always been happy to see the Arab American population flourish. I look at what happened on Warren Avenue. Back in the day when I drive down there, that was just a disaster area. And then here comes this group of eager entrepreneurs who convert that into a vibrant, kind of Las Vegas-ish style thing at night. It's very impressive, and I can't be more grateful for that kind of influence in our city. So it's all good. It's all good. So I'm Jeff Pepper, as I said earlier, and I'm asking for your vote. Let me tell you about your vote. You can vote on Monday the 28th at City Hall, and of course if you have absentee ballots that you've requested that you have in your possession, you need to get them to City Hall and put them in the drop boxes. And of course you can vote on March 1st, that's our traditional election day. I've been asked multiple times, is this like a regular election? Yeah, you go to the precincts that you typically vote for, that's where you're going to vote on March 1st. It's going to be a beautiful day, and it is your patriotic duty, and I hope you'll choose to exercise it.